Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rahah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who have taught us this truth and rule well. Peace and salutations to the chosen and elect. I'm Ari Azabat out of the GMS Dallas camp. And this lesson here is going to be the continuation of 2nd Esdras, chapter 13, starting from verse 30 on down to 58. And, the rest of this lesson is really going into the events and the interpretation of Esdras' dream from Year of the Angel, So, we're just going to get right to it. All right. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 13 and verse 30. And it reads, "And he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth." All right. And this is talking about Yahweh Shai. And the astonishment is going to be from the people, the wicked 2/3, the heathen, when Yahweh shall return and call up the elect, into the chariots. And we're going to get that account here. And let's get that in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 5. We'll read verse 1. "Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him, and made no account of his labors. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear." See, because they're going to see the destruction happening and heading this way before while the chosen and the elect being called up into the chariots. "And shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation, so far beyond all that they look for." And they're going to realize that, man, everything that the prophets were speaking about, they're going to see that, it's coming to pass. It had came to pass, and that death and destruction is headed toward them. So, there's going to be the strangeness of our salvation to see us get caught up into the chariots. All right. Lord willing, we those men and women, the chosen and elect. All right. And let's go back to 2nd Esdras 13, verse 31. And it reads, "And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another." And what that's going into is all of the different type of wars happening on earth, like civil war, race war, gender war, World War III, and ultimately the heavenly war with Yahweh Shai, that you can read about in Revelation 12 and 7. And we'll get some of those accounts too, about what this is going into. So let's grab the first one. Since we in 2nd Esdras 13 chapter, we'll go to 2nd Esdras 15 and verse 15. And it reads, "For the sword in their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands." You see, "For there shall be seditions among men, and invading one another. They should not regard their kings nor princesses, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power." And that's, this kingdom being divided, All right. And I have another account of that. We just go into the New Testament on this one. This is Luke 12 and 51, and it reads, "Suppose ye," and this is Yahweh Shai speaking, "suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth. I tell you nay, but rather division. See? For from henceforth there shall be 5 in one house, divided, 3 against 2, and 2 against 3. The father shall be divided against the son, and the son against the father, the mother against the daughter, and the daughter against the mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. See? And, these are the wars that's going to be, the division that's going to be taking place. And I have another account in Matthew, the 12th chapter, and this is around verse 25. And it reads, And Yahushua knew their thoughts, and said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation, and every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. See? And then it goes to read on, and if Satan cast out Satan, he is divided against himself. How shall then this kingdom stand? And that's what's going on right now. There's division that's taking place, kingdom against kingdom, different wars taking place in different realms, All right, let's go on and go back to 2nd Esdras chapter 13. All right, I believe I was in verse 31. I read it again, and it reads, And one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. And I just pretty much went into that, all the different type of wars: civil war, race war, gender wars, World War III, and which is the ultimately war that's going to take place is the heavenly war, where all the nations try to fight against Yahushua power. Verse 32. And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the signs shall happen, which I showed thee before. And then shall my son, which is Yahushua, be declared, whom thou sawest as a man. All right. And this is just going into a prophecy. This is the prophecy about Yahushua, because it says, and the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, So that's letting you know that this was a prophecy about him. All right. Verse 33. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have one against another. So when Yahushua return, all the nations going to be fighting against one another. And then they're just going to stop fighting. And, they're going to stop fighting each other. And then, turn the fight against Yahushua and the angels. And that's, pretty much what that's going into. Verse 34. And it reads, An innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, and thou sawest them willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. And again, all the heathen, all the nations are going to join their forces, and stop fighting each other to fight our power, our Savior, our deliverer, Yahushua. All right, verse 35. But he shall stand upon the top of the mount, on top of the Mount Zion, and Zion shall come, and shall be showed to all men, being prepared and builded, like as thou sawest the hill graven without hands. And this is going into, and Zion is pretty much is starting with the elect, that's coming down, all right, from the chariot. So let me go ahead and get a precept to that. I'll get that in, let's get that in Amos chapter 9, verse 11. And it reads, In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof. And I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as the days of old. And that's starting with the elect, chosen and elect. All right. I have another precept that goes into that, and that's Zechariah chapter 12 and verse 8. And it reads, in that day shall Yahweh defend the inhabitants of Jerusalem, because we're a people before it's a place. And he that is feeble among them at that day shall be as David, and the house of David shall be as the Most High, as the angel of the Lord, Yahweh Shem Yahushua, before them. See? And all of that's starting with the chosen and elect, because the 2/3, they're gonna get put to death, this go around, which is the second death. All right. All right, let's go ahead and go back to get that second Esdras 13 again. All right, around verse 37. And it reads, verse 37, and this my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest. And this rebuke really means to, he's just going to destroy them. That's what that's going into. Verse 38, and shall lay before them their evil thoughts and torments wherewith they shall begin to be tormented, which are like unto a flame. And he shall destroy them without labor by the law, which is like unto me. And how they're going to be destroyed, and that's, with fire. And let's get that precept. Let's get that in Revelation chapter 19 and verse 11. And it reads, and I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True. And in righteousness does he judge and make war. See? And that's how the nation's going to be judged, through righteousness. And that's a righteous judgment. All right. Verse 39, and it reads, and whereas thou sawest that he gathered another peaceable multitude unto him. And that peaceable multitude there is talking about the Israelites. Verse 40, those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king. And you can get that account in the book of Kings, whom Salmanassar, the king of Assyria, led away captive. And he carried them over the waters. And so they came into another land. And these are the Assyrians that came and besieged the northern kingdom. This is when the northern kingdom was in captivity. And then it reads, and they were, and it says they were pretty much, when it said he carried them over the waters, they was deported out of their land and imported the heathens into that land. So that was all under the Assyrian captivity. All right. Verse 41. All right. And it reads, but they took this counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathens and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. And this is going into the northern kingdom, taking counsel amongst themselves to leave, after the fall of the Assyrians to the Babylonian and Medes rising, and, which is talking about America, the West, that land where never mankind dwelt. And we're going to kind of get into that coming up in the next few verses. Verse 42, that they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. And this is going into the Americas, which that is speaking about right here. This is where that place, their land, that they, that other land that they want to, travel to. Verse 43. And it reads, and they entered into the Euphrates River. They entered, Salakia, verse 43, and they entered into Euphrates by the narrow place of the river. For the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over. In verse 45, for though that country there was a great way to go, namely a year and a half, and the same region is called Asherit. All right. So the Most High, um, stilled the waters for them, because the way they had to travel, coming from that part of the land in Assyria, which they hit the Euphrates River, which led them into the Persian Gulf, and they came around, um, Africa, and stilled the waters, through their journey over to the Americas. And verse 45, for through the country there was a greater way to go, namely a year and a half. That's how long it took them, to get over here. And the same region is called Asherit, which means another land. All right. Verse 46. Then dwelt they there until the latter time. And now when they shall begin to come. And this is going into the northern kingdom, was here in the Americas until the latter time. And that latter time is when, the southern kingdom, the rest of the Israelites came over here to the Americas, when we were brought over here into captivity. So if you read that again, it'll tell you, then dwelt they there until the latter time, meaning that the northern kingdom was over here in the Americas for a time period and now when they shall begin to come. So they were over here now until the rest of the tribes got over here. All right. And that's pretty much what that's going into. And then we can get a precept to that. This is Jeremiah 50 and verse 33, I believe. All right. And it reads, thus said the Lord Yahweh of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. And this is the only land in history where the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom were oppressed together, which is the Americas. That's how we know what land this is talking about. All right, which is through prophecy. Verse 47, and it reads, this is 2nd Esdras, the 13th chapter, verse 47, and it reads, the high shall stay the springs of the stream again, that they may go through. Therefore sawest thou the multitude with peace. And this is the Most High allowing the Israelites to get to the Americas peaceably. And what that means, not in peace like, having a good time, but it's, without having any altercations, any issues. They got here, as according to the Most High. All right, verse 48, and it reads, but those that be left behind of thy people are they that are found within my borders. And this is the elect during the time of Yahushua. And those borders are meaning Israel. Verse 49. Now when he destroyed the multitude of the nations that are gathered together, he shall defend his people that remain. All right. And, that's going into when Yahushua destroy all the nations, armies, that's including the false prophet, all of that stuff, all of those things that's taking place. He's going to defend his people that remain. And those people that remain are the elect. All right. Verse 50. And then shall he show them great wonders. All right. And that's when we are in the second covenant, when we get the new bodies, Lord willing, with those men and women, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, who stay faithful and true and endure to the end. And all the promises that, we read about in Romans chapter 9, verse 4. All right. Verse 51. Then said I, O Lord, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, that bearest rule, show me this. Wherefore have I seen the man coming up from the midst of the sea? All right. And this is Esdras asking a question, wanting to know more in detail. Question asking, more detail about, what's going to happen. And then we're going to read what the response is in verse 52. And he said unto me, like as thou canst neither seek out nor know the things that are in the deep of the sea, even so can no man upon earth see my son, or those that be with him, but in the daytime. And and all that means is that, Esdras wasn't going to get the details until Yahweh shall return and come back. All right. Verse 53. This is the interpretation of the dream which thou sawest, and whereby thou only art here lightened. And this is going into Esdras, meaning Esdras only had, the vision revealed to and the interpretation. So that's it, pretty much on that. Verse 54, and it reads, for thou hast forsaken thine own way, and applied thy diligence unto my law, and sought it. Thy life hast thou ordered in wisdom, and hast called understanding thy mother. And therefore have I showed thee the treasures of the highest. After other 3 days I will speak other things unto thee, and declare unto thee mighty and wondrous things. Then went I forth into the field, giving praise and thanks greatly unto the Most High, because of his wonders which he did in time, and because he governed the same, and such things as fall in their seasons. And there I sat 3 days. So this is Esdras, after this is after Esdras received the vision and the breakdown of it. He sat there, for 3 days and meditated on it. And this prophecy hasn't been fulfilled yet. So these are, the things to come, which we look for, going into 2nd Esdras 14 and 15 as well, and 16. So Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. And with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Raha Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who have taught us this truth and rule well. Peace and salutations to the chosen and the elect. Shalom.